Hello everyone, welcome to another Arknights video. Today I will be talking about Contingency Contract Operation Wild Skills, which is going to come out in late February in EN. We just got the announcement yesterday on Twitter and I'm super excited for it because I've been prepping for CC for a while now. I think that this has the most prepared I've been for a CC. I've actually had written down a lot of notes for the CC, just like I did with Spectrum. And I'm actually going to be doing some stuff for week 2, which is something that I haven't really done in past CCs. So yeah, before I get into going over everything and such, let's first go over what will be like given throughout CC. There's gonna be a Thorns banner, which is very good for people that don't have Thorns because he's very good for daily maps. He also is pretty good for holding lanes for the main game as well, so I suggest getting him if you want. And yeah, there's also going to be some new stuff in the seasonal shop. There's going to be some elite materials to get, and most importantly, a new skin. This skin is the Warframe skin, and it is a pretty good skin. And yeah, that is all. That is some of the rewards, and obviously contract bounties through getting through the contingency contract maps. Before I get into the permanent map, I do want to say that just like in CC Spectrum, I will be trying to get every single daily map to max risk. That is going to be something that is going to be a little bit more difficult because there's going to be a new daily map, and yeah, I'm really excited for that. Hopefully it doesn't take me hopefully it's not going to be too difficult for me, because in Spectrum I only had like one map do it to me, which took me like 2 hours, but the others were pretty fast. But yeah, let's get into the permanent map and how I'm going to tackle it. This is mostly going to be a permanent map guide, as was last time with Spectrum. So here's the permanent map for CC number 6, Operation Wild Skills. So there's going to be mechanics from Originium Dust, which is the Rainbow Six Siege event, and Gavial the Great Chief returns, which are some of the enemies that are going to be in this one, especially the main threats. Two things to note for this stage is that there are sand mounds here, which block the other mechanic in this map, which is the sandstorm. Sandstorms will take away operators HP, just to think of it as like a poison haze, and also it'll decrease movement speed of enemies. And the sandstorm direction is going to be different depending on what risk you take. So let's say you take no risk, it comes from left to right. If you take the risk 1 tag on week 1, it'll come from right to left. In week 2, there's also going to be one that will change the direction of it as well. It'll come from top to bottom. There's also a risk that it will remove the sandstorm movement speed from enemies, and also increases the damage that sandstorm takes from your operators as well. Now, I just stated like 4 tags, but there are a lot more tags obviously, and I will go over them right now. So here are all the tags that are going to be going over in CC Wild Skills. Independent tags are as followed: 1 HP seal, ally attack decrease, enemy defense increase, dust slow does not take effect, sand damage in week 2, and here's the dust storm direction. Obviously that's pretty standard. Actually, these are free risk if you know the positionings. Squad restrictions, this one is going to be very dependent on what operators you have built. If you have like a few selective operators built, go for max squad size. If you have a lot of operators built and you know how to cycle, do deploy limit. I think deploy limit is very like highly used, especially for high risk. So deploy limit, get used to that. DP regeneration. This is a very easy risk, especially if you have good Vanguards built. I think the top Vanguards for this CC are definitely Myrtle, Elysium, Texas, and Bagpipe, but Saga has been used, Zima has been used. You can use any Vanguard, especially if you're trying to go for the week 2 DP regen 3 tag. Pot 5 Bagpipe is very necessary, but you don't need it, just as long as you have a lot of good Vanguards to use. Class restrictions, this really does depend on what type of team comp you have. If you're going for an arts damage team comp, go for the guard and specialist one, as as banning both casters and supporters on the other end, meaning that you're not going to be doing that much damage anyway. But if you're going for a physical team comp, you can ban casters and supporters. And I think this one is a little bit more riskier because some people use specialists a lot. Like some people use a faster deploy to help stall like the enemies in the stage or like trigger their abilities and such. So yeah. Up next is ally HP decrease, and I think this one might be a little bit difficult for some people, but I think it's not gonna be too bad because we haven't gone over much on the enemy attack, but our attack is only decreased by 20%, thankfully. So if we do have low HP, we still are going to be able to take out enemies decently quickly. But again, it's up to you. You don't have to take this attack. Ally attack speed. Now for week 1, obviously we're not going to have to deal with it, but for week 2, just think of it as when we had it for CC Cinder and Lead Seal, except this is a little bit slower, 40%. In Pine Suit, it's going to be 60%. I mean, it's minus 60 attack speed, not percent, but yeah. This is going to be one that you just have to make sure you're activating skills at the correct time and such. And yeah, here's the big one, enemy max HP increase. This one is pretty difficult, I will say that, because knowing that you need to take out enemies quickly, it's going to be difficult because some of the enemies have high movement speed, and over double is a lot. So I suggest going for the risk 2 one. If you can't do it, don't take this risk at all. Enemy attack. This one is actually not as bad as I think, but it just depends on what HP tag you're taking for your operators. Because casters, which are coming up next, they can one-shot your operators depending on what operator they are and how much HP you take off on them. So be cautious on this one, but definitely take it if you can. One of the main threats in the stage are the casters. Obviously, any daily or permanent map with a caster is obviously going to be a big threat because arch damage is a huge factor, and not a lot of operators have a higher resistance or like can handle arch damage that well. But yeah, I think this one's actually really big. Attack range increase, meaning that you should probably have to be activating skills quicker or have to deploy more bait, because they will be able to reach your operators like from like I think 4 or 5 tiles away. So just be aware of that. But they can be countered pretty well. Just have the right units. This risk is not that bad. I think in high risks, just don't block them. You can burst them down with physical or arts damage depending on what team comp you have. Blocking them is just gonna make them super powerful, and yeah, they move pretty fast as well, so just be aware of that. Now for the main threat. I think this one is gonna be a tough one. There's 5 of them, and they all have similar pathings except for the 4th one that comes out. But yeah, I think this is just my opinion. For week 1, self-defense is good because I think your team comp is it's totally fine with, because you're not gonna have to be dealing with like a high attack or something like that. But yeah, I think stalling them is not that bad for this tag if you're doing that. But I think for week 2, definitely go for the attack speed one and don't block them. There's a way to work around the stealth, or you could just do a risk 2 one if you want to as well. Again, I'm doing this for high risk guide. If you are a newer player and you just want to try to get risk 18, you should follow the low rarity guides. There's some permanent map guides already out already, so I'm gonna link one that I would recommend in the description because he did a really good job explaining and such. And yeah, those are all the tags. Now here's my roadmap and how I'm going to tackle it in week 1 and week 2. First, let's go over my week 1 squad. Week 1 squad is a bit messy. I will say this right now. I have a good assortment of operators, and I'm thinking KO be on front support because I'm gonna go arts build, and I don't know if it's gonna work out. If it doesn't work out, then I can switch out these casters and supporters for guards and specialists as well if needed to. I don't know. I think I put Silver Ash in here just because of his redeploy talent, because I'm not gonna be able to deploy him. I don't think. But yeah, obviously Vanguards for the DP risk is very good. Ifrit skill 3, AS skill 3, Suzerain skill 3, Sarius skill 3, and then Kyobi will go on skill 2. This will be a lot of arts damage that is going to be dealt out. Nightingale is a very key unit for the CC because of the casters. And yeah, it gives the casters like some like room to like be distracted on them, those bird cages. So yeah, I don't know if this team comp will stay the same, but we'll see when it comes out. But yeah, my goal for week 1 is at minimum get 21 risk. I don't think I'm going to be able to beat my best of risk 24 week 1, which was achieved in CC Spectrum, but we'll see. My maximum I want to try to get for week 1 is probably max, which is 26, but it's going to be really difficult to pull off. I don't know if I will be able to do that. But yeah, that is how I'm going to tackle it. No real like shenanigans probably is going to go on for week 1. I'm just going to hopefully just chill out for it. Week 2 is where I'm going to start pushing though. Here's my week 2 squad. My week 2 squad is very similar to a certain strat that I've looked up on YouTube, 777 Ucky by the way. And yeah, this one is, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do max risk, which is 33, because I think 33 it involves a stalling with Mudrock skill 3, but I don't know if I can pull that off because I think you need like some sort of stalling as well. But yeah, this is my team comp. Friends support will be Ak on skill 3, and yeah, this is the exact same strategy from what I've seen from 777 Ucky's risk 32 clear, but I'm not going for risk 32. If I can do that though, that'd be great. My minimum goal for week 2 is get risk 26. There are some very free tags that come out, especially the attack speed and the sandstorm direction and the sandstorm damage tags. Those ones are pretty free. But yeah, obviously you're gonna need bagpipe for the DP regeneration cost, and these 3 vanguards. Elysium skill 2 works out very well with dealing with the stealth of the shield crocs, so you don't have to block them. Texas' stun will pair well with Ash's stun, obviously, because that's how you're going to be dealing most of your damage. Warfarin buff as well. Chen is there for surprisingly early burst, because those boxer crocs, they are fast. Surtur's good for tanking. Silver Ash obviously again for redeploy time, and also in the middle when I will not be able to take care of the 3rd shield croc, I have to leak that. Yeah, that's a main thing for this CC. People usually take off the 1 HP seal week 2 because they want to get higher risk, and that involves leaking 2 shield crocs. Weedy skill 3. This is going to be used for like, I'm pretty sure it's one of those, I don't know what they're called, but they are the ones that once they get hit, they deploy a decoy, and then the other guy will just run past. He can't be blocked. So yeah, that's what that's for. Gladia is a pretty big unit here to have. Skill 2 M3, because she can pull the casters into the hole on the map, and that is really good because the casters are a big threat. Nightingale, again, obviously very good for the CC, and even for the upcoming CC as well. But yeah, that is my goals for the CC. Knowing that it's coming out in a couple, hopefully I can get some things to be taken care of. I wanted to get a pot 5 bagpipe for the CC, so I did pull a bit on the bagpipe rate up. I didn't get bagpipe, I got thorns, but I did buy bagpipe from distinctions and got her to pot 3, and I'm about to get her to pot 4 with the shop voucher Vanguard tokens. But yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to get a pot 5 bagpipe in time, but we'll find out. But yeah, this is the first time I'm going to be going for high risk on CC week 2, because most of the time, I think the only time I decided to push in CC week 2 was CC 3, and I only got 24 compared to my week 1's 21. But that was just because there's more tags, obviously. But yeah, I don't know if I'm able to max risk this one, because I mean my operator levels are pretty low and most of them require like high levels. But I think I'll save it. I think I'll save that max risk for Python suit, which is gonna be pretty easy. I'll be pulling for silage, obviously, like I said. Hopefully get her to at least pot 2, because that's really good. But I don't know. We'll find out when the time comes. Probably during the middle of March. But yeah, that is my preparation for CC Wild Scales, which is coming out at the end of February. And yeah, I hope you all are looking forward to the CC. If you are not a CC player, then then make sure to watch some more low-end guides, because my preparation / guides are mainly to give you an idea of like how high risk or CC veterans play CC basically. And yeah, a lot of investment is needed for CC, and that can't really be said with other events in Arknights other than maybe integrated strategies. But more on that when we get close to that in EN, which is probably around June, July. So yeah. Alright, that's gonna be it for this little video. I hope you all enjoyed it. CC veterans, good luck with CC Wild Scales. I might do another video going over every single daily, but I don't know if I'll be able to. But yeah. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.